Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Latvian Privatisation Agency webinar and upcoming Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra and Grindeks share auctions. Today we are hosted by Vladimirs Loginovs, the chairman of the executive board of the Privatisation Agency, and Stefan Jugel, the member of the management board of Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra. Before I give the floor to the gentlemen, I'll shortly introduce you with the agenda. Firstly, we'll have a presentation, after which we will open the floor for questions. We encourage you to submit your questions during the presentation by typing them in the questions section in the right side of the screen. All questions will be addressed after the presentation. Please note that during the presentation you will also be asked to provide your feedback to certain questions. Please follow the presentation in screen when all questions are asked. Your participation would be appreciated. Gentlemen, I invite you to start the presentation.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Vladimirs Loginovs, and I'm the chairman of the Privatisation Agency. So today we wanted to discuss the two auctions that the LPA is organizing for the shares of Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra and Grindeks. These are the state-owned shares that we are selling on behalf of the government. Just a bit of a background for the process. This is not something new. This process has been done or is already going for some time for other shares that we have as a part of SOE corporate governance reform organized by the state of Latvia. So we are trying to dispose and exit all the shareholdings that are not critical for the functioning of the state. And as a part of this process, effectively, we're implementing the amendments to the law that has been put together a year ago, that the state only participates in the companies or in corporate business in case of market imperfections, in case of goods or services are of strategic importance, and or assets are of strategic importance. If we're talking about both Grindeks and Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra, the companies have been performing well, but because we have minority stakes, then we don't see that they are critical for the functioning of the country. So now I kind of very quickly brief you on the agenda. We have two sections in the presentation about each company. One will be provided on Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra, and the other one on Grindeks. And then we have one or two slides on the auction itself. And then, of course, as Eva said, we would have questions and answer session. Now I give the floor to Stefan, talking about Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra.
Warm welcome from Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra side as well. We prepare 3 slides of information available at the stock exchange about the company. Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra is a company located in Valmiera, Latvia. We are running 2 subsidiaries in the UK and the US. We really export-oriented company, exporting our products in 38 countries worldwide. We have a total share of export in our turnover of 98%. Our key markets are, due to the distance, the EU countries, but we have a slightly increasing market share in North America and historical-wise as well in the CIS countries. Since 2003, Valmiera Glass Group, and I'm talking about all 3 sites, we increased our turnover up to a level of approximately 100 million, and we invested on site in Valmiera, Latvia, 146 million in new production facilities and infrastructure. Some slides about the financial performance. As you can see, we have a strong growth. In the last 5 years, we reach a turnover level in 2015, consolidated of 121 million. For the first 9 months of this year, we announce a turnover of 98.89 million euro, which is approximately similar to the level we had in 2015 for 9 months. We did not achieve our turnover target due to unexpected furnace repair we have done in August this year. During this time, we lost production capacity and raw material, and due to this fact, we wasn't able to reach our sales targets and also not our net profit targets. The explanation we announced for the stock exchange is that we had to buy during this repairing time glass as a raw material from the market, from competitors. So we lost, in this time, we lost margin on our sales. But also we are now at the level that we are running for 4 furnaces on the Valmieras side, including a new furnace with a new HR glass, which has a heat resistance up to 800 degrees. The net profit for the first 9 months was, if we go back to the slide before, is 4.49 million, which is below the level of the 2015, and which is below the level we was planned for the first 9 months. Some facts about the company and the shareholders. As you can see, we have 3 major shareholders, which is Vitoran International GmbH, Germany located producer of fiberglass wall covers, with a share of 36.2%, and plus the number 2 and 3 major shareholders are part of the PD Group, PD Glasseiden GmbH in Oschatz, and PD Management Industry Technology GmbH, located in Wilsdorf, Germany. Share capital, as you can see, 33 million, nominal share value 1.4 euro, and the total number of shares 23,903,205. The earnings per share, due to the facts I mentioned before, went down from 15 to 16 to 19 cents per share, and dividend policy in 2015 we pay 2.8 million dividends to our shareholders. Traded volume is quite small due to the small free float we have, and due to the major shareholder, 4 major shareholders, and average weighted price was 330 in the last months.
Thank you. And here, Vladimirs Loginovs again. Unfortunately, we don't have Grindeks representatives with us, so I'll try to go briefly through the Grindeks information. Please note that most of it, all of it, has been already presented to the stock exchange. So, in terms of the company itself, as most of you probably know, it's one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the Baltics. It's a group of 5 companies having production units in Latvia, Estonia, and Slovakia. The company, of course, also is export-oriented, so it exports to 70 countries, and 90% of turnover is export markets. Quite understandable that the key markets are Russia and CIS countries, which are the neighboring ones, but also the company is exporting to US, Canada, Japan, and Asian market. Since 2002, Grindeks has invested more than 70 million in increasing production capacity and improving the infrastructure of the companies. Coming to the financial performance, after the kind of drop in sales in 2014, we see that the sales have stabilized at the level of about 85 million in 2015, and at the moment we see that the 6 months results in 2016 are even better than in 2015. So we expect that the company has found its feet and diversifying the markets so that they will increase the sales volumes. In terms of the profits, because of the sales drop in 2014, when the company showed losses of 2.5 million, it seems that by repositioning the sales and also by optimizing the production, the company is getting into black. And this year, in 6 months, the profits were 4.2 million, which is about 1 million more than in the same period of last year. In terms of the shareholder structure, here again the shareholding is quite concentrated. So there are kind of the largest shareholder and his wife, the Lippmans family, they have nearly 50%, and then we have also financial investors, Amberstone Group, and Swedbank clients of another 30%. The company, all of the shares are listed, and the company's share capital is 13.5 million euros, with nominal value of each share €1.40. After a few years without any dividends, in 2015 there was quite a substantial dividend payout of 9 million, generating almost €1 per share to the investors. Similarly to Valmieras stikla šķiedra, the traded volume is not very high compared due to the shareholder structure. So we see that it was 360,000 shares traded during 9 months or 10 months of this year, with the average price over this period of €4.64. I think now it will be the time for the first question to the participants of the webinar. So please look at the question, and it's basically we're trying to understand the audience today. We of course seen the registration information, but we want to learn more about you. So please indicate what type of investor are you: institutional, retail, private individual, or investment company. And it will probably take half a minute or so. So I guess that looking at the number of participants, the colleagues from the stock exchange are saying that this is probably one of the most attended webinars recently. So we're very, very proud of this. We yet to see if we're hitting the records, and we yet to see if the results of the poll are interesting. So Eva, if you could comment on the results. Very briefly.
Yes, sure. As the results show, the absolute majority of people represented here are retail investors, and then the group of others follow. Then we're also seeing some institutional investors, such as banks, asset managers, perhaps fund managers, and media is also represented here.
Thank you. Well, that's quite interesting, and we're happy that there is so big interest from retail investors towards these shares. So if we go on with the presentation, I would like briefly to run you through the auction rules. They are available on the webpage of the stock exchange and also on the webpage of LPA. Effectively, we would be running 2 parallel auctions, one for each company. So you don't need to participate in both of them, but we're more than welcome to see each investor buying shares in Valmieras stikla šķiedra and in Grindeks. So the auction is organized at the 8th of November. It would start 9 o'clock Latvian time and will close at 1 o'clock Latvian time. Any investor could participate. Of course, you would have to do it through a broker, which is the member of a stock exchange, and effectively does not differ too much from submitting a simple order to the stock exchange. So we try to make sure that the system is self-explanatory and fairly convenient to all investors to participate. At the same day, on the 8th of November, we will finalize the order matching process. We will announce the price for each company, and then the settlement date is T+2, 10th of November. Talking about the subject of the auction, the most interesting part is that we are offering all the shares owned by the state in Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra, and Grindeks. So in Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra, we own 425,609 shares, which is slightly above 175% of the capital. And there has been minimum share price set already for the auction. It is €2.73. So no orders below that price would be accepted to the system, but you're welcome to bid above that. For Grindeks, the state owns 219,780 shares, which is a bit bigger stake. It's nearly 2.3% of the share capital, and the minimum price per share has been set at $3.78. So again, everybody is welcome to bid above that, and the auctions will be closed at the equilibrium price, so it will be visible online, both for participants, for brokers, but also for the general public at the webpage of the stock exchange. So now I suggest that we turn to questions and answers, and of course the presentation itself will be available after that also on the webpage of stock exchange and the LPA, so that if you would have questions later on that you wouldn't figure out now, don't worry, you would always have the right to answer those. Thank you.
Vladimir, Stefan, thank you for the presentation. Let's proceed with the questions and answers then. A reminder to those who haven't yet submitted your questions, you can do it anytime in the questions section in the settings panel zone. We have received some questions in advance, so let's start with them. So first question goes to Vladimir. How did you set the auction price for Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra, and Grindeks?
Thank you for the question. We had effectively two things in mind. One was to make sure that by setting the minimum price, the government is happy with the expected revenues. So it has been the minimum price has been set by the decision of the government. And then we also, at the moment of announcing the auction, we have recalculated based on the weighted average price on the stock exchange for the last 6 months, and then checked it against the minimum price set by the government. As a result of that, we're having the price slightly below the existing market to make sure that we attract as many investors as possible and as much attention from institutional investors and private investors as possible.
Thank you. Second question. Are you also considering sale of Latvijas kuģniecība and other state-owned assets?
Yes, as I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, this is the process that we are going right now. So we're disposing basically all of the minority stakes that the government has. The question is timing. This year we do not plan to offer Latvian shipping company. We think that we will come back to the market possibly next year on this. In terms of non-listed shares, because most of our portfolio is non-listed, we are offering them from time to time, and I would invite everyone to follow the information on the LPA web page, where we have information on public auctions for those.
And now question to Stefan. Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra is a frequent dividend payer. Is it safe to say that company is planning to continue the same way unless some unforeseen and unexpected circumstances arise?
Thank you for the question. In general, this decision is made by the shareholders meeting. We, as the management, can just recommend dividends payment to the supervisory board. So I can't answer the question in the name of the shareholders. We as a management, we are committed to the shareholders and for sure working also to pay dividends to the shareholders, but again, it's just a recommendation by us, so I can't answer this question for the next years.
Thank you. Before I'm proceeding with the next question, I'll launch the second poll question that we would appreciate you to answer. Feel free to do that. Meanwhile, we're asking a question to Stefan once again. How important are investor relations for Valmieras stikla šķiedra? Meaning, Nasdaq Riga lists companies with the best investor relations, such as Olainfarm and Saftechnik. After each quarterly report, these companies give interviews to the portal naudaslietas.lv, which is the only media designed specifically for exchange investors. Many other companies, such as Brīvais Vilnis Gropiņa, Latvijas Gāze, and others, give interviews once per year. I have tried to negotiate an interview 2 times with Valmieras stikla šķiedra investor relations specialists, but so far they have been declined. Aren't you planning from now on pay more attention to improvement of companies' investor relations and tell investors more about Valmieras stikla šķiedra in the form of interviews, as many other companies do? Stefan?
Thank you for the question, which is not really a question, as a comment or investor relations policy. Sure, we have an investor relation policy in place. We have a person dedicated to investor relation and information to our shareholders, also to the public. And I'm really thankful for this comment. If these companies are the benchmark for us, then we will look after the investor relation policy, and sure, there's always space to improvement, and I think we can do better. And in general, it's not a policy not to give interviews to the press or a public person. My only explanation for this at the moment is just the workload of the board members due to our investment projects, and the daily work. So there's space for improvement, we can see, and again, thank you for the comment.
Thank you, Stefan, for an explanation. Meanwhile, I have launched the results of our second poll, and as we can see, the majority, more than 60% of the participants currently are not shareholders of Valmieras stikla šķiedra and Grindeks. So we might be targeting new companies and new private persons becoming shareholders. Meanwhile, another question to Stefan. Maybe you are informed, have German shareholders of Valmieras stikla šķiedra showed their interest in participation in the auction? Has this been discussed?
To answer this question, this hasn't been discussed in the management board of Valmieras stikla šķiedra. But so far, according to my information, these major shareholders are not able to participate due to the new regulation of the capital market in Latvia.
Thank you, Stefan. And now questions from participants. Question to Valmieras stikla šķiedra. Was your operation somehow affected with the fact that State was your shareholder? What do other major shareholders think about the exit of the State? Is this being considered a positive effect?
To have the State as a shareholder, our operational business wasn't really affected. The State is not our customer. The State is not involved in our business. As I mentioned before, we're exporting our products. If this affects the free float and the trading of the stock, I can't answer at the moment. For sure, probably 1.78% or more on the market probably has an effect on the free float and market price. And we don't see any major changes in our operation or our daily business if the State is leaving as a shareholder of our company.
All right. How do you assess the current corporate governance climate in both companies? Vladimir, this is directed to you, I believe.
Thank you. Well, here are probably two comments that I would like to make. On one hand, the LPA, we took over and inherited the shares from the Social Security Agency only last year, so we didn't manage, luckily or unluckily, to enjoy most of the relationship with the other shareholders. So far, we have seen certain issues, and again, recently there was an announcement on the court decision in case of Grindeks, but we appreciate the fact that we as a shareholder can participate in the shareholders meetings and at least vote there and pose our own opinion on matters that are relevant to the shareholders. On the other hand, we of course don't have council representation by having a very small stake in each company, which again is understandable, and we probably wouldn't have even resources to make sure that we are present in the boards of each company. So I think it was doing quite all right so far. As always, and as we see from the questions and recommendations from investors, you always can do better. But that's, I think, where we invite also private shareholders, both institutional and retail, to join the party, buy the shares from us, and maybe help to improve that corporate governance whenever possible.
Thank you for an answer given. At this point, all questions have been answered. Let's give our participants a minute to submit their questions if they have any. The recording of the webinar will be available, as Vladimirs mentioned before, on Nasdaq Baltic website and also on Nasdaq Baltic YouTube channel, so please follow the news to get the recording and also the presentation. Since no other questions have been submitted at this point, I would like to thank you, gentlemen, for the presentation. Participants, many thanks for joining, and see you at the auction, I believe, then.
On my side, I would like really to thank everyone who participated and were interested in the state disposing the shares. As Eva rightfully said, we invite everyone to participate and spread the word to your friends and your fellow investors to participate in the auctions and buy the shares. I think selling these shares and adding them to the free float will definitely improve liquidity, and I think will add activity to the stock exchange as well. So we'll be waiting for your offers on November 8th through the stock exchange system. Thank you very much.
Thank you from Valmieras, stikla, šķiedra side as well for the interest in our company, and probably we're going to see us in the next shareholder meeting. Thank you very much.